Good evening, dear students. I am Zeeshan Hashmi, and basically today we'll be learning what could be a short way of increasing our score, of boosting our score for Prelims 2023 exam. And it will be an interactive session. We'll be taking 2022 Prelims paper and 2021 Prelims paper as reference and to see as proof how the seemingly very difficult questions can easily be tackled by using the various methods and approaches that we are going to discuss in this particular discussion. And for that, I need you guys to keep your cameras on because this session will be interactive. I'll be talking to you guys. I'll be asking questions to you guys. Please keep your cameras on. जिनके cameras on होंगे मैं उन्हीं से बात करूंगा. ठीक है? So let's start. Okay, so first of all, why are we here? Like, I'm assuming most of you guys are appearing the 2023 prelims. Then the second point means scoring in 60 to 80 range in mocks. Now this is a very common problem. कितना भी हम पढ़ लें, कितना भी revision कर लें, our score seems to get stuck in a particular range, 60, 70, 80, somewhere near that range. Or some students among you might have failed in previous UPSC prelims exam and are not able to figure out as to what exactly is going wrong or what exactly went wrong, so that you don't repeat the same mistake in the upcoming 2023 exam. Then don't know how to improve and make correction. This is something we discussed already. Facing low confidence in UPSC prelims preparation. Now that logically follows if you haven't cleared earlier prelims, or if you are scoring less in mock tests, then the component of low confidence definitely seeps in. And ultimately, you want to break the chains of low scores. So this is something we'll be getting clarity on and discussing in today's session. And in short, we'll be learning how traditional approach of syllabus completion and revision is not sufficient to clear prelims. How it is not sufficient to clear prelims. This is something that you have been taught from the very childhood. When we used to study in our schools, during our graduation, where we had to just study hard and try to bring maximum possible marks. How that approach differs from this approach, and how that approach of revision and syllabus completion is not sufficient here. That will be learning. Then a very interesting thing that we'll be learning today is how very difficult questions, the questions that prima facie seem very difficult, are in fact very easy to solve if you have the right approach, if you know the right approach. And roadmap for 120 plus in UPSC Prelims 2023. This is our discussion. This is going to be our discussion today. And of the 14 to 15 golden rules, we'll be looking at 4 of them, basically spotting obvious hints that UPSC gives in the paper. Then we'll be decoding UPSC's inherent bias in question framing, again, which acts as a hint. We'll be seeing at feasibility test how we can solve difficult questions or the questions about which we have no idea using feasibility test. And lastly, we'll be also using the 4th rule, spotting overemphasis in the given. Then, yeah, before moving ahead, if you haven't filled the form, do fill the form. I'll share the form at the end when I'll be taking questions from you guys. It will also be given in the description box. PDF of this webinar will be shared post webinar, and it will be shared in the Telegram group, which you'll be able to join after filling up the given form. Then you'll be certainly added to a Telegram group, and you'll be able to access one-to-one detailed mentorship session with. Moving ahead, in short, about me. So I am a senior UPSC faculty at CivilsDaily, having 4+ years of mentorship experience. I have mentored mentored की spelling यहाँ गलत हो गई है. I've mentored 100+ UPSC rankers, including All India rank 65 Pranav, All India rank 117 Nisha, All India rank 267 Soham, and many more. And what is more important is 80% of my students have scored more than 110 marks in the past years. Now, these are some messages of gratitude from my students. This is Pranav Vijayvargiya, All India rank 65, where he says conversation with Zeeshan sir was the breakthrough moment for me, demystifying the essay paper on essay mentorship. So this particular session is not on essay, but Pranav Vijayvargiya had given this particular review on Quora regarding our mentorship process. Then this is Nisha, All India rank 117, where she has said, your support has been instrumental in getting the rank, really grateful. And the list goes on. Now, interestingly, I'm also sharing a screenshot of another student who is giving mains this year. In the beginning, when the student contacted me, he has said a few things which must resonate with many of you guys. He had said that, sir, I've given two prelims two times already, couldn't clear both the times. 2020 my score was 92, 2021 as per institutes I was getting 98. I'm just losing it by 1-2 questions and so on. So basically he was inquiring as to will this intervention help him. Then this very student, after the prelims result was out, gave this message, sir, cleared prelims only because of destroy prelims and elimination technique. Now, this is the name of the program which we'll be seeing later. Thank you for making this possible. Now, this is when the student had cleared prelims, the very student, Akash. Now, the student gave mains, and this time he's giving interview. This was the next message he gave. Hello, sir, on 6th of December. Hello, sir, cleared mains. Wouldn't have done this without your help in cracking prelims. Now, Akash had not come for me for mentorship for mains. I hadn't mentored Akash for mains. I had mentored him only for prelims. But the point I'm making, just like many other students out there, and probably just like many of the students among you, you guys must be very strong with your mains. You guys must be having good command over your optional. But prelims stands as the main hurdle before you. Prelims ही अगर clear नहीं करेंगे, so what's the use of having so much command over optional, ethics, essay, and whatever? Okay, moving ahead. Like as we have discussed, 4 golden rules we'll be learning today, we'll be discussing today, and the rest golden rules will be covered in the live workshop. And to access that, again, you'll have to fill the form that I'll be sharing in the end, in the question, during the question session, and it will be also available in the description box. Then, starting with the main agenda. Before starting with the main agenda, let me see if you guys have your cameras on. I can't see many cameras on. मैं क्वेश्चंस किससे पूछूंगा, बात किससे करूंगा गाइस अगर तुम्हारे कैमरास ऑफ होंगे? It can't be a monologue. Keep your cameras on, otherwise this session will be cut short, guys. Cameras on रखो अपने. Fine. Very good. Very good. So, rule number 1. Now, it might seem a little bit abstract in the beginning, but you will get more clarity as we go to the questions, as we see more examples. Rule number 1 says, XYZ is done by ABC. What does it mean? Sentences with above structures are more likely to be wrong. It might sound confusing. Directly, let's jump to a few questions from 2022. And these questions are those which were considered to be relatively very difficult by the students. Many students were shocked at seeing these questions, and even after studying rigorously, even after doing lots of revision, even after doing lots of mocks, students were caught off guard in these questions. So let's see how this particular rule number 1 helps us in solving these seemingly difficult questions. The rule, as we have discussed, XYZ is done by ABC. the given statement is more likely to be wrong. So this is a question from 2022 prelims. Vaishnavi, can you quickly read the question for me?
According to Kautilya Arthashastra, which of the following are correct? First, a person could be slave as a result of a judicial punishment. Second, if a female slave bore her master a son, she was legally free. Third, if a son born to a female slave was fathered by her master, the son was entitled to the legal status of the master's son. Which of the statements given are correct?
Okay, let me ask this to you, Vaishnavi. Does this question seem to be a traditional one that you will be able to solve?
No, sir. It's
solely based on
asking.
your preparation from the
No, sir.
books that you read?
No, sir. Actually, basically, we just get about the book name and the author. The detailed description are not mentioned in the books we are reading.
This is very good. So as you have said, this is something in that has been asked in great detail, and you
Yes,
are
sir.
not expected to know
Yes,
the
sir.
correct answer for this question, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's see, Vaishnavi, will you be able to solve this question despite having no idea about this question? The rule that we just discussed was ABC is done by XYZ, done by ABC. It's more likely to be wrong. Read the third statement again, Vaishnavi.
If a son born to a female slave was fathered by her master, the son was entitled to the legal status of the master's son.
So the statement, as Vaishnavi has read, says if a son born to a female slave was fathered by her master, slave was fathered by her master. Now, if we go by the rule that we have just discussed, we'll have to assume statement 3 to be incorrect. You have no idea whether it is correct. You have no idea whether it is incorrect. But following the rule that we just discussed, we'll have to assume it to be incorrect. So let's eliminate statement 3. What remains, Vaishnavi, after we eliminate statement 3?
Sir, only first option, 1 and 2.
Only 1 and 2. Option A remains because option B, C, and D gets eliminated automatically because it has statement 3.
Yes,
and
sir.
definitely 1 and 2 only is the correct answer. So despite not knowing the correct answer, we have solved it correctly. Fine. But now we have just solved one question. It might seem like an aberration. Okay, one question might be following this rule. Let's go to another question from 2022 itself. Okay, Akash, can you read this one for me?
I'm audible, sir.
Can you read this question for me, Akash?
I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. With reference to Indian history, consider the following statement. First option, the Dutch established their factories warehouse on the east coast on land granted to them by Gajapati rulers. Second, Alfonso de Albuquerque captured Goa from Bijapur Sultanate. Third, the English East India Company established a factory at Madras on a plot of land leased from a representative of the Vijayanagar Empire.
Okay, so do you have some idea about this question, Akash?
I have I'm sure about second statement, but not the third and the first. Alfonso captured Goa.
You're not sure about statement 1 and statement 3. That means if you face this question or if you gave this exam in 2022, you were caught off guard with respect to this question, right? Now,
yes, sir.
Now the rule that we discussed, the structure of statement 1, where it says
by
East Coast on lands granted to them by Gajapati rulers. By Gajapati rulers. Eliminate statement 1. What remains, Akash?
So B option then. If we eliminate
option B remains, 2 and 3 only are the correct answers because option A, C, and D has statement 1, which we have assumed to be incorrect. We are not sure whether statement 1 is correct or incorrect, but we have to mark an answer. We have to take that risk. And following that cardinal rule, following that golden rule, we have eliminated statement 1 and we have marked the correct answer. Clear so far?
Okay, sir. Is it necessary that every time UPSC make incorrect option by this?
Yeah, I'll answer these questions, Akash. I'll answer these questions.
Okay, sir.
First, let's cover the questions that are scheduled for today. Let's not break the momentum. Okay. Then Reshu, please read this one for me.
Okay, sir. Consider the following statements. First, in India, credit rating agencies are regulated by RBI. Second, the rating agency, popularly known as ICRA, is a public limited company. The third is Brickwork Rating is an Indian credit rating agency.
Okay. So, Reshu, tell me, do you know the correct answer for this one for sure?
Actually, sir, I have solved prelims previous year, so yeah.
You knew the correct answer?
Yeah, actually, I solved the prelims previous year.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Assuming you don't know the correct answer, what will you do now?
So of course, I'll be caught off guard. Yeah, sure.
Okay. So going by the rule that we have just discussed, if we eliminate statement 1, because it says agencies are regulated by Reserve Bank of India. Okay. So this is the risk. This is the risk we are taking. We eliminate 1 and only option B, 2 and 3 remains, because all other 3 options get eliminated. 3 questions we have discussed so far from 2022 paper that follow this particular rule. Moving ahead. Okay. So who is the next one? Radhika, please read this one for me.
Good evening, sir. With reference to the proposals of CRIPS mission, consider the following statements. The Constituent Assembly would have members nominated by the provincial assemblies as well as the princely states. Option 2, any province which is not prepared to accept the new constitution would have the right to sign a separate agreement with Britain regarding its future status.
Okay, so this is relatively an easier one. So statement 1, following the same rule, the Constituent Assembly would have members nominated by the provincial assemblies as well as the princely states. So following that rule, if you eliminate statement 1, we are left with a 50-50 situation. And given that this is an easier one, we should be able to mark the correct answer. Option 2, this is part of our Lakshmikant. Okay. Right. But again, the same rule has been followed in this question from 2022 paper. Moving ahead to the next question. Okay, Sarika, please read this one.
Yes, sir. First, Vietnam has been one of the fastest growing economies in the world in the recent years. Second, Vietnam is led by a multi-political system. Third, Vietnam's economic growth is linked to its integration with global supply chains and focus on exports. Fourth, for a long time, Vietnam's low labor cost and stable exchange rates have been attracted global manufacturers. Fifth, Vietnam has the most productive e-service sector in the Indo-Pacific region.
Fine. So, Sarika, do you know the correct answer for this one?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's try to use that same rule in this question. If we eliminate statement 2, which says Vietnam is led by, is led by a multi-party political system. So taking risk, we are eliminating statement 2. Option A and option D gets eliminated. We are left with option B and option C. Either we have to choose from 3 and 5 or 1, 3 and 4. So 3 is common in both, right? So let's probe statement 1. Vietnam has been one of the fastest growing economies in the world in the recent years. Now I'm giving you 2 choices, guys. If a statement says Vietnam is the fastest growing economy in the world and Vietnam is one of the fastest growing economies in the world, which one are you more likely to choose, Pritam?
One of the, maybe.
2 statements, 2 choices I'm giving.
One of the
fastest. I think one of these, sir. One of these, because it can be one of
the. Rather than choosing Vietnam is the fastest growing economy, you are
one of the fastest.
Vietnam is one of the fastest. Can you give me a particular reason for this, Sarika? Because you don't know the correct answer for sure, whether it is the fastest or whether it is one of the fastest. Why will you go for
Can
the
I?
second one?
Can I?
So
Yes, Harika.
तो क्योंकि फास्टेस्ट होगा तो मतलब वो ज्यादा ओवर होता है वो, और वन ऑफ द होगा तो जनरल स्टेटमेंट जैसा हो जाता है.
All right.
There might be
ठीक
other
है.
countries
So
in the
this is-
world which are faster. So we can't say only one
So,
I
country is
think-
faster.
Fine. I get your point. In both the cases, you have to take risk, but statement 2 looks more plausible to you, despite the fact that you don't know the correct answer for sure, right? Radhika.
Yes.
Okay, coming back to this particular question, statement 1 says Vietnam has been one of the fastest growing economies in the world in the recent years. So we don't have a strong reason to eliminate it, to reject it. This is something that we call feasibility test or probing extreme exaggeration. We won't discuss about that in this question. We'll be discussing that in the later questions. But statement 1 is more plausible. So this is how we go for 1, 3, and 4. If you are choosing 4, let's read 4 as well. Radhika, statement 4.
For the long time, Vietnam's low labor costs and stable exchange rates have attracted global manufacturers.
So this is my question to you, Radhika. Do you have a strong reason to believe statement 4 has to be wrong?
So I think it is, we don't have a reason to say no because it is a manufacturing hub. Companies do tend to manufacture
Fine.
their products there.
All right. So you don't have a strong reason to say it is definitely wrong. It may be wrong, it may be right? But definitely wrong, we can't say that. So going through that rule, we'll be discussing later. Feasibility test, we'll take it as true. Statement 1 and statement 4. So we mark option C. 1, 3, and 4 are correct. So what we have done in this question, we directly eliminated 2. So we were left with 2 options, B and C. And then we went for feasibility test and mark option C, 1, 3, and 4 as our correct answer. Moving ahead, this is yet another question from T22 paper itself. कौन बोलेगा अब? This is Lily. Please read this one out, Lily. I think Lily can't hear me. Radhika.
Consider the following statements. The Indian Sanitation Coalition is a platform to promote sustainable sanitation and is funded by the Government of India and the World Health Organization. The National Institute of Urban Affairs is an apex body of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in Government of India and provides innovative solutions to address the challenges of urban India.
Okay. So Radhika, if you have given the prelims paper 2022, or even if you haven't given, do you know the correct answer for this one for sure?
No, sir. A lot of parallel bodies are being named. It's little confusing.
You don't know the correct answer despite having studied. Pritham, what about you?
No, sir.
Okay. So safely, what I can say is that among the students present here, despite having studied rigorously and gone for revisions, this question is quite difficult for you if you face this in the real exam, right? Now, applying the same rule in this question, the Indian Sanitation Coalition is a platform to promote sustainable sanitation and is funded by the XYZ, whatever. So using that rule, we eliminate statement 1. So we eliminate option A and option C because it has 1. Then we are left with B and D. And we are left in a 50-50 situation. Unlike the previous questions where we were getting the answer directly, here we have to choose whether we'll mark 2 only or will be marking neither 1 or 2. And I won't discuss other skills over here, other logical skills, because the focus from this question will drift away. But the point is, if we have command over those other skills as well, we'll be able to mark the correct answer. Or in worst case scenario, you are in a 50-50 situation. It's much better rather than being blank, despite having no idea about the question. Clear so far? Okay. Moving ahead. Now, this is yet another question from 2022. Akash, please read it out.
With reference to the United Nations Credential Committee, consider the following statement. First, it is a committee set up by the UN Security Council and works under its supervision. Second, it traditionally meets in March, June.
A bit louder, okay. Please.
It traditionally meets in March, June, and September every year. Third, it assesses the credential of all UN members before submitting a report to the General Assembly for approval.
Okay. Do you know the correct answer for this one, Akash?
I know the answer, sir.
You know the answer already.
Yeah.
Vaishnavi is nodding her head, saying no. Okay. Sarika is also saying no. Fine. So assuming you didn't know the answer, Akash.
Okay.
Let's follow the same rule. Eliminating statement 1, we eliminate option B and option D, and we are left with A and C only. That is 3 only, and 2 and 3 only, which means 3 is common in both. 3 is common in both. So we'll probe statement 2. It traditionally meets in March, June, and September every year. Now, here, if you have command over the other logical skill known as spotting superfluous terms or spotting overemphasis in statements, we'll be able to eliminate statement 2. I'll just give you a simple example. Remove the word traditionally, which has been underlined in statement 2. If the statement said, it meets in March, June, and September every year, the statement makes complete sense still?
No, sir.
It doesn't make sense. It meets in March, June, and September.
I think, sir, it's not possible that every year they will meet March, June, September. I'm thinking about it.
Okay. See, using simple English, if I say this particular group meets in March, and other statement, if I say this particular traditionally meets in March, both are conveying the same meaning closely.
Yes.
Right?
Almost same.
So here, following that particular logical skill of spotting the superfluous words, we'll be eliminating statement 2 because it's adding overemphasis. Now, this is something for which you need practice. So we are not going into much detail of it. If we eliminate statement 2, we get statement 3 as our correct answer. So what have we done here? We have straight away eliminated statement 1. We have taken risk. We don't know the correct answer here. We use that rule. We eliminated statement 1 and we chose between A and C by using another logical skill in statement 2. Option A, 3 only, is the correct answer here. Now, these were many questions from 2022 paper which follow this particular rule. Now, certainly there would be some exceptions. We won't be speaking about exceptions here. If we keep on speaking on all the exceptions of all the rules, this session will never end, because the workshop that we have for these particular skills, where we learn and we master these skills, is a 10 days workshop. We can't expect to condense it in a 1 hour session. So coming back to the main point, these were some questions from the 2022 paper which followed the same rule. Now, one might say कि सिर्फ 22 के पेपर में, 2022 के पेपर में ये चीज हो, पिछले पेपर्स में this might not be the case. So let's see some questions from the 2021 paper itself, and those questions which are more difficult. जैसे हमने यहाँ पर देखा, the questions which appeared prima facie difficult were solved by us with greater ease. Similarly, the prima facie difficult questions from 2021 हम अब देखेंगे, again which can be solved with more ease. So coming to the first question from 2021. Anybody gave this paper? 2021 wala?
Yes, sir.
Who is this?
Sarika. Yes.
Okay, Sarika, read this question, please.
With reference. So which one?
This question
98.
on your screen.
Okay. Consider the following statement in respect of the Laureus World Sports Award, which was instituted in the year 2000. First, American golfer Tiger Woods was the first winner of this award. Second, the award was received mostly by Formula One players so far. Third, Roger Federer received this award maximum number of times compared to others.
Did you have any idea about this question, Sarika?
No, sir.
So because you have given this paper, so am I right in saying that this question was considered very difficult by the students in 2021?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's follow this particular rule that we have used so far. Statement 2, the award was received mostly by Formula One players so far. Eliminate statement 2. What is left?
1 and 3. Option C.
Option C, 1 and 3 only are left.
Yes.
Because option A, option B, option D all have statement 2 as their correct answer. So before moving ahead, I hope you guys have observed one thing, that this particular rule is more applicable on those questions which are out of the box, which means even after studying and revising rigorously, if a question catches you off guard, this particular rule is more likely to be correct. I hope that is clear to you guys after discussing these many questions. Okay, let's move ahead. Another question from 2021 following this very rule. Okay, who is this? PS. Can you read the question?
Yes, sir. With reference to urban cooperative banks in India, consider the following statements. They are supervised and regulated by local boards set up by the state governments. Second, they can issue equity shares and preference shares. Third, they were brought under the purview of the Banking Regulation Act 1949 through an amendment in 1966. Which of the statements given above is or are correct?
Ignore the correct answer given here. Do you know the correct answer for this one?
No, sir. I gave prelims in 2021, but I was not able to do that. Actually, I guessed it and it was luckily right.
It was really right. What was in your mind when you guessed it?
I was just thinking that the third statement is about fact, and I thought that it may be correct because it has some act given. And so by eliminating, I got that B answer.
It's good that you got your answer right. What's your name, by the way? I can just see your initials here. PS.
Padmini Soni.
Okay, Padmini. It's good that you got the answer right, but let's try to understand this particular rule and how it helps in this particular question. Statement 1 says, regulated by local boards set up by the state governments. Set up by the state governments. If we eliminate statement 1, option A, option C, option D gets eliminated, and we are left only with option B. 2 and 3 only are the correct answer. And this is when we had no idea about this particular question. If you have some idea, definitely you will be getting it right. But despite having no idea and by taking risk, we are getting the correct answer in this question from 2021. Now we are comparing 2022 and 2021 question, which follow the same rule. Another question from 2021. आगे कौन बोलेगा? किसका नंबर है? कलाम मुरीद. Can you read this one?
Yes, sir. With reference to India, consider the following statements. First, retail investors through demat account can invest in treasury bills and Government of India debt bonds in primary market. Second, the negotiated dealing system order matching is a government securities trading platform of the Reserve Bank of India. Third, the Central Depository Services Limited is jointly promoted by the Reserve Bank of India and the Bombay Stock Exchange. Which one of the following statements given are correct?
Okay, what's the name, by the way? Can you? Sorry. Okay, there is some network issue with your device. Okay, Suraj, Vaishnavi, do you know the correct answer for this one? Pritham,
No, sir.
and this is despite studying reasonably well and revising your both your current affairs and static. This question is out of the box. You are being caught off guard, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, following the same rule in this 2021 question, eliminate statement 3. We are taking risk because the structure of the statement says it is jointly promoted by the Reserve Bank of India. Jointly promoted by the Reserve Bank of India and so on. We assume statement 3 to be incorrect. We eliminate option C, option D, and we are left with option A and B. One is common in both, in option A and option B. So one has to be correct. Let's go and read statement 2. The negotiated dealing system order matching is a government securities trading platform of the Reserve Bank of India. Now, I'm sure when students gave this exam in 2021, doesn't matter how hard they prepared, how rigorously they prepared, how well they revised. Most of them must have found this term to be new in the exam. Am I correct, Sarika?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I won't go into detail, but here we use another logical paper solving skill, which is called the unheard technique. Unheard technique, which means even after preparing rigorously and covering your static and current affairs quite well, if a term, if a phrase is new to you, then it is more likely to be correct. So by that virtue, we mark option 2 as our correct answer. And among A and B, we were in a 50-50 situation. We are marking option B, 1 and 2 as our correct answer. So sticking to the main rule that we are discussing, the buy wala rules, rule number 1. This was another question from 2021 that is. Now, again, yet another difficult question from 2021. Who else gave this exam? 21 वाला exam और किसने दिया था?
Sir, I gave it.
Who is this?
Sir, Padmini.
अच्छा ठीक है. Padmini, read this question.
With reference to the history of ancient India, which of the following statements is or are correct? Mitakshara was the civil law for upper caste and Dayabhaga was the civil law for lower caste. In the Mitakshara system, the sons can claim right to the property during the lifetime of the father, whereas in the Dayabhaga system, it is only after the death of the father that the sons can claim right to the property. The Mitakshara system deals with the matters related to the property held by male members only of a family, whereas the Dayabhaga system deals with the matters related to the property held by both male and female members of a family.
All right. So, Padmini and Sarika, you both gave this paper in 2021. Tell me, how was this question?
Sir, actually,
Was it difficult?
I had read that concept, so I eliminated option 3rd in the exam. It was an educated guess because I knew what was Mitakshara system, and I got it right.
You got it right again.
No,
Fine,
sir.
fine. So you're
actually 2021 paper was more difficult than 2022 in lengthy format.
okay. Fine. Again, ultimately, if you're getting it right, it's good. But your thought process was ad hoc over there. You didn't have a systematic skill, systematic rule in your mind. by using which you'll be eliminating a particular statement.
Yes,
Now
sir.
let's systemize it.
Mhm.
Let's systemize it using that particular rule where the statement says related to property held by male members and so on. Okay? So we eliminate statement 3, and because of which option C and option D gets eliminated, and we are left only with option A and option B, 1 and 2 and 2 only. So that means 2 is in both, it has to be correct. Let's see option 1. Mitakshara was civil law for upper castes and Dayabhaga was civil law for lower castes. Now this is a 50-50 scenario, and here we use yet another skill. Again, we won't go into detail, which is called as word play, where we learn that UPSC has the knack of interchanging terms. And how it does it, we'll get to know by practice. Just by my saying it won't make much sense, but we eliminate statement 1 by using that particular trick skill called as word play. So we get statement 2 as correct answer. So what we did here, we used that rule, we eliminated statement 3. We were left with the 50-50 situation despite not knowing the correct answer. Sarika, did you know the answer for this one?
No, sir.
Still we are in a 50-50 situation despite having zero idea about the question, right? And that is a much advantageous position despite being completely blank. Right? Okay. Moving ahead. Before moving ahead, to reiterate the fact that this was one of the very difficult questions which were considered very difficult by students in 2021. And we are following the same rule number 1. Next question from 2021 again, Padmini. Please read this.
With reference to Indian history, which of the following statements is or are correct? First, the Nizamat of Arcot emerged out of Hyderabad state. The Mysore kingdom emerged out of Vijayanagar empire. Third, Rohilkhand kingdom was formed out of the territories occupied by Ahmad Shah Durrani.
Okay. Now, I hope third time you will go for a hat trick where you guess and mark it correct.
No, sir. It was I marked it wrong because I just knew the second option, and in the last I was left with 2 options and I marked wrong. I marked C.
So
it was wrong.
Going systematically, Padmini, if we eliminate statement 3, we eliminate. We are taking risk. We don't know the correct answer. By using that rule, we eliminate statement 3. So option C and D get eliminated because they have statement 3. We are left with A and B, 1 and 2, and 2 only. That means 2 is correct. It's present in both. It has to be correct. Statement 1, the Nizamat of Arcot emerged out of Hyderabad state. Did you know this one, Padmini?
No, sir. No, sir.
Did you
I
know?
only knew second.
Sarika, did you know this? Statement 1, Sarika?
Yes, I know the first option first.
Okay.
The Nizamat
It's
of
good that
Arcot.
you knew it. It's good that you knew it. My students, part of my workshop, use the other technique, which we term as the unheard. It means despite rigorous preparation. Now, Padmini, I'm sure you must have also prepared and revised. But still, if something is catching you off guard, it's more likely to be correct. So we mark statement 1 and 2 as our correct answer. Fine. Moving ahead. Yet another question from 2021 following the same rule. Now, because this is a question from 2021, I'm asking Sarika and Padmini to read this question because both of you have given this particular paper. Sarika, please read this one.
First, 21st February is declared to be the International Mother Language Day by UNICEF. Second, the demand that Bangla has to be one of the national languages was raised in the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan.
Okay, Sarika and Padmini, you gave this paper. So how did you feel about this question in the exam hall?
Sir, I marked option number D because I thought that UPSC gives date or fact. They are wrong. I mean, they give that to confuse us. So I eliminated option 1, and Option
ऑप्शन
2,
2 क्यों हटा दिया?
because I thought that Pakistan is a Islamic nation, so I don't think that uh, Bangla's the Bangla language demand has to be raised that assembly. So I just thought, I mean,
सारिका,
that was the thinking process I was thinking in the exam
I
also.
get your point. I get your point. Sarika, what about you?
So I marked option A because I thought the date was correct because it says the UNICEF, so International Mother Language Day, and it always has the UNICEF.
I get your
So
point. I get your point. So both of you prepared well, you revised, you went through the static part. Still, you found this question to be tough, and ultimately, unfortunately, you marked it wrong. Right? Now, following the same rule, Rika, Padmini, and other students present in this session, we eliminate statement 1. We take the risk. We assume statement 1 to be incorrect because it says at the end, International Mother Language Day by UNICEF. Mother Language Day by UNICEF. We take risk. We eliminate 1. So we eliminate option A, option C. We are left with B and D. Either it's 2 only, or it's neither 1 and neither 2. Now, in statement 2, again we use that trick, that skill that we have just discussed of unheard. After having gone through the syllabus, after revising your syllabus, you haven't heard about the demand of Bangla that was made to be made one of the national languages, was raised in the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan. Now tell me this thing. Now this is a very simple question. Are you expected to know, as a civil services aspirant, are you really expected to know statement 2?
No, sir, but can I say one thing?
Who is this?
So, Vaishnavi.
Yeah, Vaishnavi.
So, as Pakistan was demanding that two-nation theory, that one was East Pakistan and where was the West Pakistan. So, the East Pakistan was comprising of the Bangladesh, that is mainly the Bangla people.
Fine. So your thought process will take you to the right answer. You will mark statement 2 as correct, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's good. That's good. But assuming you haven't read it, now this is reasoning. This is your reasoning. You don't know the answer. You're trying to reason it out, and that's good.
Yes, sir.
Reasoning will help you to get to the correct answer.
Yes, sir.
And by using that technique of unheard, something is catching you off guard. Even after rigorous preparation, it is more likely to be correct. By that virtue, we mark statement 2 as our correct answer. So what we did here, we were left with the 50-50 situation after eliminating statement 1 by following rule number 1. And then we chose between the remaining 2 options by using the technique unheard. Okay? Moving ahead. Now this is yet another last question from 2021. We have been discussing many questions, both from 2022 and 2021, which have been following the same rule. Now, this might seem shocking to some, but this is as it is. Vaishnavi, read this one, please.
Consider the following statement in respect of the ICC World Test Championship. First, the finalists were decided by the number of matches they won. Second, New Zealand was ranked ahead of England because it won more matches than England.
Tell me, Vaishnavi, are you expected to have this nuanced information about sports events?
No, sir.
For UPSC Prelims?
No, sir. And also, since past a decade, the sports section questions were not being asked in UPSC. So I was not very much aware.
So naturally, those people who gave exam in 2021 were naturally caught off guard in this question. By applying the same rule, we eliminate statement 1 because it says the finalists were decided by the number of matches they won. We are left with B and D, either 2 only or neither 1 or 2. So we are left basically in a 50-50 situation. Again, this is a much better, much advantageous situation, being in a 50-50 situation than being in a 25% situation, because you have 4 options. One of them is going to be right, 3 are going to be wrong, and you are marking it blindly. That doesn't make sense. Here, at least you have a 50% chance of getting it right. And Either you may get it right or you may get it wrong. So in worst case, let's assume you are getting it wrong. Okay, let's not say we are discussing pure science here, where you'll always get 2 + 2 = 4. In these many questions, let's assume you'll get it wrong, and that's okay. If you are getting these many questions right, despite having no idea, it's okay if you are getting 1 or 2 wrong. That's fine. You might still be able to get it right if you have good command over the other skills. But in worst case, we are assuming it to be wrong. Moving ahead, we have discussed one rule so far, and we have solved quite a good number of questions from 2022, and we have compared and validated those questions by using questions from 2021, both of which were quite difficult. From 2022 and 2021, the questions that we solved were relatively very difficult, or considered very difficult by the students who attempted these questions, both in 2022 and 2021. And here we have seen how this could be solved with great ease if we had this approach at the back of our mind. Everyone clear so far before we move ahead to the next rule?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And does this approach seem interesting or shocking? Something of that sort?
Sir, sorry
Okay,
to
I can
interrupt.
see. I can see.
Like,
Yeah, Pritam.
sir. Like, sorry to interrupt, sir. Like, I'm just going through this Mrunal sir previous year questions. So in the years of
Okay.
17, 18, 19, there are so many, using by, but they are in correct option.
Even in 21 and 22, you'll find questions that have by, but they are correct. So that's why there are exceptions, and we'll discuss those exceptions in detail in the Telegram group, not here.
Okay, sure, yeah.
इन पेपर्स में भी तुमको मिल जाएंगे जहां पर बाय वाला करेक्ट है, बट दोस आर एक्सेप्शंस.
Yeah.
उनको टैकल भी करने का हम तरीका सीखेंगे. ठीक है?
Okay. I was trying using this rule. I was like trying this.
Yeah. So that's why I said we never claim this to be a pure science. 2 + 2 4
Yes,
नहीं
yes.
है ये, right? Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Moving ahead. But I hope, Pritam, the point is clear to you कि अगर कुछ गलत भी आते हैं, let's be realistic. You'll get some answers wrong, but
Yes.
you are in a much better situation where you are getting net correct marks.
Exactly.
Despite having zero idea on those questions, where other students are being caught off guard. You at least have that advantage of having
Yes.
this approach at the back of your mind, right, Pritam?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving ahead. Rule number 2, where in the beginning we discussed about spotting inherent bias of UPSC. If you remember in the very beginning, rule number 2 was spotting or learning the inherent biases of UPSC with respect to framing of questions. And those biases, if you are able to spot those, help us in getting the answer right. So rule number 2, Indian Constitution defines, states X, Y, Z. Statements with above structures are more likely to be wrong. Now, here we won't compare many questions from 21 and 22. We'll go through the 2022 questions itself, because it will take quite a long time if you keep on doing this exercise, because till now we have discussed only one rule. Okay. Question from 2022 following this rule. Pritam, read this one, please.
Yeah. Consider the following statements. The Constitution of India classifies the ministers into 4 ranks. That is, Cabinet Ministry, Ministry of State with independent charge, Minister of State and Deputy Minister. The total number of ministers in the Union government, including the Prime Minister, shall not exceed 15% of total number of members in the Lok Sabha.
All right. Fine, Pritam. What about this question? Do you know the correct answer to this one?
Yeah, I know that. I know the second option is correct, but I'm not sure about the first one.
That's why we are using the skill here in the first one, because statement 1, using the rule that we have just discussed.
So your voice.
That's why we have taken up this question, because most of the students are likely to
Your
know.
voice is breaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
So I said that's the reason we are taking this up, because most of the students out there must be knowing about statement 2, but not necessarily statement 1. Okay? And this is where this particular trick of ours comes to our rescue. The rule that we have just discussed, Indian constitutions defines, states, argues, whatever might be the terminology. This is more likely to be wrong. More likely. So in statement 1, it says the Constitution of India classifies X, Y, Z, whatever the case might be. So if you, even after reading Lakshmikant, if you are not able to make sense of this statement, we'll go by the rule. Using the said rule, we'll eliminate statement 1. We are taking a risk. After eliminating statement 1, we eliminate option A, option C. We are left with option B and D. 2 only or neither. And option 2 is relatively more easy. It's present in Lakshmikant and we keep reading about this. This is more in news, right? So we are more likely to get this one correct. Option B is our correct answer using rule number 2. Looking at a similar question from 2022 itself. Sarika, please read this one.
First, Attorney General of India and Solicitor General of India are the only officers of the government who are allowed to participate in the meetings of the Parliament of India. Second, according to the Constitution of India, the Attorney General of India submits his resignation when the government which appointed him resigns.
Okay, now this is relatively easier, but still there is room for confusion. Students might get confused here. Using that particular rule, we eliminate statement 2, assuming we don't know the correct answer. Agar answer pata hai, to very good, we'll directly get to the correct answer. Because statement 1 is an obvious one. Statement 2 हमने eliminate कर दिया using that rule according to the Constitution of India and so on. We took risk, we eliminated it. So we are left with A and D, either 1 only and neither 1 nor 2. And statement 1, यहाँ पर मैंने mark करना भूल गया correct वाला. What statement 1 says, Attorney General of India and Solicitor General of India are the only officers of the government who are allowed to participate in the meetings of the Parliament of India. Again, this is known to everyone. किसने अगर लक्ष्मीकांत पढ़ी है ठीक से, he'll be able to say that it is incorrect. Option, the correct answer has to be neither 1 nor 2. The Constitution doesn't speak about Solicitor General, right? It has to be incorrect. So here, using that rule, we are marking neither 1 nor 2 as the correct answer. Now, this is the second question from 2022 using this particular rule that we have discussed. Moving ahead, third question using this very rule. अब कौन पढ़ेगा? अगला नंबर किसका आएगा? This Nisha. Nisha, read this one, please.
Consider the following statement. Pursuant to the reports of H.N. Sanyal Committee, the Contempt of Court Act 1971 was passed. Second, the Constitution of India empowers the Supreme Court and the High Court to punish for contempt of themselves. Third, the Constitution of India defines civil contempt and criminal contempt. Fourth, in India, the Parliament is vested with the powers to make laws on contempt of court.
Now, this is an interesting one because two statements have the similar structure. Statement 2 बोल रहा है कि Constitution of India empowers XYZ. Again, statement 3 is saying the Constitution of India defines XYZ. Now, let's directly jump to the options. Do we have a statement which doesn't have both 2 and 3? Which means one among them has to be correct. 1 and 4 only वाला option नहीं है हमारे पास. Among the given options, we don't have 1 and 4 only. अगर होता तो we might have gone for it. So let's decide which is more likely to be correct among 2 and 3. The Constitution of India empowers the Supreme Court and High Courts to punish for contempt of themselves. अब ये हमको पता है. Everybody knows this who is preparing for civils, that Supreme Court and High Courts have the power to punish for contempt. ठीक है? This everybody knows. But the Constitution of India defines civil contempt and criminal contempt. This is something you might not be knowing, Either this is wrong or right, you are not sure. But you are sure about statement 2. These courts have the power to punish for contempt. And when it comes to Supreme Court, when it comes to judiciary, it is more likely to be constitutionally mandated. Now, this is the reason. This is the reasoning that we can go for. And if you go by this reasoning, we'll assume statement 2 to be correct and 3 to be wrong. क्योंकि दोनों में से एक तो हमको निकालना ही है, eliminate करना ही है. If we think that statement 2 is more plausible compared to 3, अगर हमको पता नहीं भी है for sure, it seems more plausible. If we eliminate statement 3, we eliminate C, we eliminate D, we are left with A and B, 1 and 2 only, 1, 2 and 4 only. Statement 4, in India, the parliament is vested with the powers to make laws on contempt of court. Again, any strong reason to eliminate option 4? Parliament has powers. It can even increase powers of the judiciary. So we don't have any reason to eliminate statement 4, both by using the tricks that we have learned so far and also using our pre-existing knowledge regarding powers of parliament. We are going for option 1, 2 and 4 as a correct answer. So what we have done here, in this third question that we are discussing from 2022, where we have followed the same rule, 2 questions had similar structure, but we chose one among both and we marked the correct answer. We are left with the 50-50 situation where statement 4 passes the feasibility test. Now, this is yet another logical skill. We use feasibility test. The given statement, does it seem feasible or not? And by that virtue, we mark 1, 2 and 4, option B as a correct answer. So 2 rules we have discussed. Everyone has good clarity so far. Akash?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Quickly moving ahead. Now let's try to be quick. Rule number 3. If you're clueless about a statement despite rigorous study, in the exam hall, you are confronted with a question and you are completely clueless about that statement, despite studying well, despite revising well, despite going through current affairs and static quite well. Then that particular statement is more likely to be correct. Eliminate only if there is strong reason to eliminate. Now let's see a few examples of these. Yeah, you don't need to note it down here. Just pay attention to what we are discussing, because you will be getting this PDF in the Telegram group. Okay. These slides you'll be getting. Now let's discuss a few questions following this rule. Ajay, read this question for me, please. Unmute yourself, Ajay.
With reference to Web 3.0, consider the following statements. Web 3.0 technology enables people to control their own data. Statement 2, in Web 3.0 world, there can be blockchain-based social networks. Statement 3, Web 3.0 is operated by users collectively rather than a corporation.
Okay. So Ajay, do you know the correct answer for sure for this one?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, using feasibility test, tell me, do you have a strong reason to say that statement 1 or 2 or 3 has to be definitely wrong? Do you have a strong reason, Ajay?
No, sir. No, sir. No. One,
okay.
It enables people to control their own data. It can be possible. And there can be a blockchain-based social network. So it is also possible. And it is operated by users collectively rather than a corporation. I don't know for sure.
Okay. So Ajay, what you're saying, you don't know the answer for sure, especially statement 3. You are not sure whether it is right, whether it is wrong, but you don't have a strong reason to believe it is definitely wrong.
No.
Fine. So following the rule that we have just discussed, if you are clueless about a statement, it is more likely to be correct. So using feasibility test, given the fact that you have prepared well so far, you have gone through standard books, using feasibility test, we'll mark statement 1, 2 and 3 as a correct answers using feasibility test, because we don't have a strong reason to believe any of this is definitely wrong. Radhika, you are raising hand. Do you have a question?
Sorry to interrupt, sir. So just wanted to clarify the feasibility test and the unheard technique that you had mentioned earlier. Are they on the similar lines? Because they are both coming together when you have not heard about a particular word or a statement before.
You'll get clarity on this. You'll get clarity on this. Not so much in this session because that's not planned. You'll get more clarity as part of the Telegram interactions. Let me give you one example. See, there was a question before a few years where statement 3 of that particular question spoke about embryo being implanted in a pig. So the question had embryology of pigs involved. Okay. So as a UPSC aspirant, even after going through current affairs, static, and given the fact that you are not expected to know about how embryos develop and work in pigs. So there you use unheard technique, where you haven't heard of the term despite going through science and technology, current affairs, and static quite well. I hope you get the difference.
Okay,
where you use unheard. Okay.
Okay, so feasibility is basically when you cannot negate an option, when you cannot by proof say, okay, no, this is wrong. That is when you apply feasibility. Is that
to begin with? To begin with, you can say so. See, Sarika, what's your name? Radhika.
Sir.
Radhika. Only after doing many questions and after practicing a lot, you'll be able to understand how exactly you use feasibility test. Because this is just theoretical discussion that we are doing. You need practice. Fine. Okay. So we solved this question. Yes, Radhika.
That's it, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So we solved this question from 2022 using this particular rule. Another question from 2022 itself. Nisha.
Yes.
Read this out, please.
The reference to software as a service, consider the following statement. First, SaaS buyers can customize the user's interface and can change data field. Second, users can access their data through their mobile device. And third, Outlook, Hotmail, and Yahoo Mail are form of SaaS.
Very good. Now this is something where more than one logical tricks converge. Apart from feasibility test, we'll see the utility of unheard as well here. Now, Nisha.
Yes, sir.
Do you know about this particular term SaaS, software as a service?
Sir, actually in exam paper also I did not attempt it. I was not aware about it.
You are not aware. Akshay, you are also saying no.
Sir, I am aware about it.
Who's this?
Sir, Ajay.
Ajay, okay. Akshay? I think Akshay can't hear me. Sarika, when you gave this exam, were you aware of this?
No, sir, I'm not aware about this, but I was, my question is correct in the exam paper. I marked correct option D, because I didn't know anything about this, so I just
subconsciously you were using unheard only. You were using the unheard technique.
Yes.
Where despite having done rigorous preparation, if something is catching you off guard, it is more likely to be correct. So here both the tricks are converging, be it feasibility test, be it unheard, and in some questions more than two techniques would also converge. So that's a matter of practice. So everybody is clear so far? Okay, good. Next question from 2022 itself.
So actually, I have a question. Sami.
Who is this?
Reshu.
Sorry?
Sir, Reshu, I raised my hand.
Reshu, yeah, Reshu, tell me.
I need to ask. So all these kind of feasibility test questions that you're giving, are they like more likely to be all correct? Because I can just see that the next question as well. Basically,
I didn't get your question.
So I'm just saying that feasibility test does that mean that every science and tech question which is coming is like all correct? So can we just safely assume?
Let's not oversimplify stuff.
Okay.
Let's not oversimplify stuff. When you go through more questions and when we do more practice, we'll come to know where you need to draw that line. And if you go on oversimplifying stuff, it's a sure recipe for disaster. Again, this is a matter of practice. This is just a 1 or 1.5 hour session where we are trying to get to know more and more, but you'll be able to go in depth with more practice. I hope that makes complete sense. Reshu.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so this is more of a get to know of a session. Okay, so Nisha, please read this out.
Yes, sir. Consider the following communication technologies: closed circuit television, second, radio frequency identification, and third, wireless local area network. Which of the above are considered short range devices or technologies?
Okay, so any idea about this one? Nisha, Akash, Sarika?
Sir, I marked all 1, 2, and 3. I thought I have never heard about this. So I thought maybe this 1, 2, and 3 option.
Akash?
Yes, sir. I will eliminate the second option because first is CCTV, then third is wireless, which is in our phone. I will eliminate second option because I'm not sure about it. Radio क्योंकि दूर से ही काम करता है.
Sir, वो second
Akash,
वो refeed
one thing.
news में था.
That means,
yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll come to you, Nisha. I'll come to you. You said you are not sure about statement 2, so you'll eliminate it, right?
Yes, sir.
See, isn't there a difference between the two facts? We might be unsure about something, but does it mean it has to be wrong?
No, sir.
Okay. Right. Radio. So this is the difference that we are trying to understand, and how do we master such situations in the exam? Nisha, you had to say something.
No sir, I was telling के second option वो refeed वाला एक idea था वो RFID technology का, इसलिए.
Very good. So this is a repetitive question which has been asked in a different form in a previous year exam. So radio frequency identification, closed circuit television, RFID or radio frequency identification, wireless local area network. We'll be marking it as correct. Both feasibility test and unheard would apply here. Now this is rule number 3. Just to reiterate the fact, we are discussing rule number 3. Moving ahead very quickly. Rule number 4. Vaishnavi, read this one, please.
Consider the following statement. Biofilms can form on medical implants within the human tissue. Second, the biofilms can form on food and food processing surfaces. Third, the biofilms can exhibit antibiotic resistance.
So Vaishnavi, do you know the correct answer for this one?
Sir, on the basis of, like in science and tech question, generally the possibility type questions are more likely to be correct. So that's on the basis of that I can say that.
Again, let's not oversimplify. I can give you many examples from 21 and 22 papers itself, where UPSC has been evolving its format in science and technology questions. So we can't go in the exam hall by having this preconceived notion. कि साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी का क्वेश्चन है तो ऑल ऑफ द अबव ही मार्क करना है, या एनवायरनमेंट का है तो ऑल ऑफ द अबव मार्क करना है. और दिस कैन बी फैटल. इन द एग्जाम हॉल यू माइट कम टू द कंक्लूजन कि इसका आंसर ऑल होगा या दूसरा होगा. प्रीकंसीव नोशन के साथ नहीं जाना है. ठीक है. नाउ माय क्वेश्चन टू यू इज सिंपल. आई एम अज्यूमिंग यू प्रिपेयर्ड वेल फॉर द एग्जाम, यू वेंट टू द एग्जाम. डिड यू नो अबाउट बायोफिल्म्स or its relation with medical implants, food processing, or antibiotic resistance? No, did you? Pritam, what about you?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay, so this was the case with most of the students. यहाँ पर FT गलती से यहाँ पर लगा दिया है. It is here unheard technique is more applicable, because after rigorous preparation, this question is catching you off guard. You have no idea, like most of you have no idea, assuming you are in the exam hall and you're facing this question. Biofilms kya hai and what's its relation with medical implants, food processing surfaces, antibiotic resistance, and so on. So you'll assume all these statements to be correct by using the unheard technique. not feasibility test, unheard technique in this particular question. ठीक है. Moving, Nisha, are you getting clarity?
Yes, sir.
थोड़ी देर के लिए मुझे लगा तुमको देखे कि you had some doubt over here. Fine.
Nice.
Moving ahead. Okay. Ajay, read this one, please.
Which of the following statements about Sangam literature in ancient South India is correct? Sangam poems are devoid of any reference to material culture. The social classification of Varna was known to Sangam poets. Sangam poems have no reference to warrior ethic. Sangam literature refers to magical forces as irrational.
Fine, fine. Now, for a moment, forget about this question. Okay. Completely forget about this question, and I'm asking you, or I'm giving you a simple statement. If I say people in the modern times and the medieval times and even the ancient times have some basic knowledge about the Varna system. People from the ancient, medieval, and modern times had some basic idea about the Varna system. Is this statement right or wrong?
It seems to be right, on the right side.
Actually,
Sarika,
this
you're nodding your
particular
head.
Right, sir.
Okay, who was this?
this particular
Vaishnavi.
Yeah, Vaishnavi.
Sir, it's right. Like it's something which is we have often heard also.
Okay, so it is
in the book
basic
as well.
common sense. If you have gone through even basic NCRTs, ancient, medieval, modern, you know how old Varna system has been in Indian
Yes, sir.
context and how deep rooted it has been. This is basic NCRT gyan. If you have gone through basic NCRTs.
It's written in the book
So,
as well, directly written.
yeah, no, let's assume we don't know. अगर directly लिखा है और हमने पढ़ा है तो we won't need a logical trick over there. We will directly mark the correct answer, right? So, if common man, if a layman is expected to know about the Varna system, poets would certainly stand on a higher pedestal, at least intellectually, right? So if a statement says the social classification of Varna was known to the Sangam poets, assuming we don't know the correct answer, using feasibility test, we are probing whether the given statement is feasible or not feasible. What should we do? Should we be marking it right or wrong? Vaishnavi.
So
Option
more
B.
likely to be correct.
It is more likely to be correct because it's a plain commonsensical statement. There were some poets, there were Sangam poets in that particular period, ancient period, and they had this basic idea about the Varna system. No
Yes.
strong reason to eliminate option B. Do you have a strong reason to eliminate option B?
No, sir.
Nisha?
No, sir.
Akash?
No, sir.
Okay. So this one again we solve using feasibility test. Option B is our correct answer. Now moving quickly ahead. Now we are nearing the end of the session. Rule number four. Spotting over exaggeration or over emphasis in the given statements. Such statements are more likely to be wrong. Okay. Let's try to use this in few of the questions from 2022. Now this particular question, अब किसका number आएगा? Suraj, can you read this one?
Hello, very good evening, sir. So with the reference of the screen is, sir, my screen is something not visible now. That something is over there.
Okay.
On that
Fine,
first
Preetham.
line.
Fine, it's okay. Preetham,
Yeah,
read it, please.
With reference to the Gucci sometimes mentioned in the news, consider the following statements. It is a fungus. It grows in some Himalayan forest areas. It is commercially cultivated in the Himalayan foothills of northeastern India.
Okay. So, do you have some idea about this question, or when you attempted this question, did you have some idea?
No, sir.
Akash?
No, sir, I don't have any idea.
Okay, fine. So let's try to use this rule that we just saw, spotting overemphasis or exaggeration in statements. Fine. Again, this is a matter of practice. In the beginning, it might look a bit vague, but with practice, you'll be able to make more sense out of it. Statement 3 says it is commercially cultivated in the Himalayan foothills of the northeastern India. Now, for a moment, let's just ignore the word commercially. The word commercially has been underlined. If the statement did not have this word commercially, the statement would have read, it is cultivated in the Himalayan foothills of northeastern India. Still, it would make complete sense, right? It would absolutely make complete sense, even if we remove this particular term commercially. So, what UPSC is doing here, it is basically giving you a hint. Essentially, if I ask you this question, that did you have some idea about this question even after rigorous preparation, most of the students would say no. We did not have any idea about this question despite having prepared quite well. So UPSC knows this. So it is giving you a hint here by adding this word commercially, which follows this rule of providing overemphasis or over-exaggeration. Now, let me make it more clear. If I give you two statements, XYZ is cultivated in the Sundarbans or in the Maharashtra, and XYZ is commercially cultivated in Maharashtra. So, can I say that statement 2 is more specific, or there is more emphasis being added in statement 2, where that particular thing is commercially being cultivated commercially, right?
Yes, sir.
The same rule we are applying here. By adding this word, an emphasis has been added in this statement, and by the lot of practice that you'll be doing, you'll be able to pinpoint on this particular term and say that this particular statement is a clue where UPSC has given emphasis or it has exaggerated, and by that virtue, statement 3, we will be assuming it to be wrong. We don't know for sure whether statement 3 is right or wrong. We are assuming it to be wrong by using that particular trick, that particular rule. We are eliminating statement 3. So we are eliminating option B and D. We are left with only option A and C. That is 1 only and 1 and 2. You have to choose between both. 1 is present in both, so it has to be correct. It is a fungus. It has to be correct. Statement 2, it grows in some Himalayan forest areas. Again, I'll give you two scenarios. Nisha, Pritam, and others. Statement 2 says it grows in some Himalayan forests. Now, this is a statement. If I give you another contrasting statement, XYZ grows in Kumaon Himalayas. Okay. XYZ grows in Kashmir Himalayas. Can we say I'm making it more specific?
Yes.
Himalayas are quite extensive. And if the statement says it grows in some Himalayan forest areas, so it has been tempered down rather than being more specific. It has been more generalized. It has been more tempered. So your choice or your the liberty with you for eliminating it is less. This is something UPSC has done for you. It has made your path easier. Just by making it a generalistic statement, it grows in some Himalayan forest areas. So we'll apply feasibility test again. Statement 2, we don't have a strong reason to eliminate it. We'll mark both 1 and 2 as our correct answers. So what we have done here, we eliminated statement 3 by spotting the overemphasis or exaggeration, or there is yet another term, superfluous words. By spotting a superfluous word, we have eliminated statement 3. We are left in a 50-50 situation. Then we use feasibility test in statement 2, and we marked statement 1 and 2 as a correct answer. Here, for explanation purpose, it's taking a lot of time, but with practice, all these approaches, all these rules will be there at the back of your mind, and you will be able to solve this in a matter of seconds, because it will be there already in your mind. Right now we are learning it, so it's taking relatively more time to understand. Okay, moving ahead. Who is this?
Sir Ajay.
Yes, Ajay.
Sir, one question. Sir, उसको दोबारा एक बार वही क्वेश्चन. सर इसमें ये जो जैसे 3 स्टेटमेंट्स हैं, इनमें से मुझे कहाँ से शुरू करना चाहिए? जैसे कभी कभी होता है कि मतलब किसको बेसिस मान के सोल्व करना चाहिए, कभी कभी ऐसा भी समस्या आती है.
स्टेटमेंट 1 से ही हम शुरू करेंगे अजय
जी सर.
हम ज्यादा स्मार्ट होने के चक्कर में स्टेटमेंट 3 से शुरुआत नहीं करेंगे, कंफ्यूजन बढ़ जाएगा
जी.
विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम स्टेटमेंट 1 ओनली. तीनों
Okay,
स्टेटमेंट पढ़ने के बाद अगर हमको लग रहा है कि हमको इस क्वेश्चन का आइडिया नहीं है, अगर आइडिया है तो लॉजिक का सवाल ही खड़ा नहीं होता, विल गो फॉर मार्किंग द आंसर. लेकिन आफ्टर रीडिंग ऑल द 3 स्टेटमेंट्स वी हैव कम टू द कंक्लूजन कि हमको इसका आंसर पता नहीं है, देन वी गो फॉर यूजिंग दोस ट्रिक्स. Because we have read all the 3 statements, you will be able to make out कि statement 3 appears to be following this particular rule number 4, where a superfluous word seems to be used or an emphasis seems to have been added, and so on. You move ahead. Is it clear, Ajay?
Okay.
Okay. Radhika, you raised hand?
Yes, sir. Sir, the last question which we had referred for rule 3, could you just open that slide once, sir?
Rule 3.
Am I audible, sir?
क्या राधिका, रूल 3 पर जाना है? अब हम रूल 4 डिस्कस कर रहे हैं.
नहीं, उसका the same question can also apply rule number 4. With that also we are getting the answer. Can that be done?
Yeah. See, yeah. Okay, so we have just discussed this thing earlier. कि multiple logics, multiple rules, multiple tricks can be applicable on a single question. लेकिन here we are discussing it separately क्योंकि हमको समझना है, right? Once you master the approach, apply करो, 2 apply करो, 3 apply करो. Our ultimate motive is to get the correct answer despite having no idea or despite having only some idea about the question. Make sense, Radhika?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Moving ahead, following the same rule from 2022 paper. So this is the last question. This is the last question that we will be discussing today. I can see people are getting hungry. It's 9 o'clock in this session. और काफी देर से सेशन चल रहा है, but let's finish it off quickly. Who will read it? Vaishnavi, read this one, please.
With the reference to India, consider the following statement. First, the monazite is a source of rare earth. Second, monazite contains thorium. Third, monazite occurs naturally in the entire Indian coastal sands in India. Fourth, in India, government bodies only can process or export monazite.
Okay. So when you attempted this paper or when you are seeing this now, Vaishnavi, Nisha, and all others, what's the idea that's coming to your mind?
So this third option, I had some idea that it is found near Kerala or some, not in entire India.
That's part of your basic gyan that you read in your NCRTs, geography NCRT.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this question is relatively easier, but follows the same rule of spotting extreme exaggeration, spotting the emphasis. When statement 3 says, now assuming you don't know the correct answer, अगर पता है तो ठीक है, directly हम correct answer mark करेंगे. Still, there is a good chance that you might be confused in this particular question despite reading that NCRT. Statement 3 यहाँ क्या बोल रहा है? Monazite occurs naturally in the entire Indian coastal sands in India. Now, to give a comparative statement, if I say gold is found in Karnataka, and another statement, gold is found in all Indian states, which one appears to be an exaggeration?
All Indian.
UPSC को पता है कि you are going for these terms, all, none. So it's improvising, it's evolving its pattern. यहाँ पर क्या बोल रहा है UPSC? It's found in the entire. लेकिन the rule remains the same. Emphasis add करना है UPSC को. वर्ड्स दूसरे यूज करेगा यूपीएससी, लेकिन रूल वही फॉलो हो रहा है, एडिंग एम्फेसिस। ठीक है, so by using rule, yeah, I'll come to you. Using this rule, if we eliminate statement 3, we are left only with the correct answer. 1, 2, and 4, and option A, C, and D are automatically eliminated. So you don't need to have detailed idea about statement 4, that government bodies only can process or export monazite, which in fact is correct. And even if you are confused, this rule will help you to mark the correct answer. Okay, was it Radhika who was asking question here? Yeah, what's it out?
I said that nowadays UPSC is not giving options. So I am saying that UPSC is not giving us like all entire. So no, the options are not 2 and 3. They say all pairs, 2 pairs, 1 pair. So they're also there about them. So I think that it can be a little bit tricky.
Who's this? Who is this?
Reshu.
Your name? Nishu.
Reshu. Yeah.
Reshu. You're saying that UPSC is not doing these kind of questions. ये 2022 का ही क्वेश्चन हम देख रहे हैं. सारे क्वेश्चन 2022 के हैं.
No.
All questions are from 2022, including some questions from 2021 that we took for comparative purpose.
No.
That is one thing. And what you are saying is about those 8 questions where you had to choose whether only 1 pair is correct, 2 pairs are correct, 3 pairs are correct, 4 pairs are correct. So I have made an exhaustive video on those 8 questions.
Okay.
Link of that video, I'll share it in the Telegram link because we can't discuss those questions. We don't have time for that. Telegram link में उसका link मैं तुमको share कर दूँगा. ठीक है?
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Fine. So this was yet another question from 2022 where we followed this rule of spotting overemphasis, superfluous words, or exaggeration, which work as hints and help us mark the correct answer. So this was the last question. Now, what's ahead? Till now, what we have understood, अब तक हमने ये समझा कि our traditional mindset of just going through the syllabus, just mastering the syllabus, revising it 5 times, 10 times, 100 times would help us get through. Now, after having gone through many questions from the recent prelims paper, 2022 prelims paper, I hope इतना तो clear हो गया है कि definitely having command over your static and current affairs is crucial. उसके बिना हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Be it prelims, be it mains. And definitely revision has to be done many times. But that is not sufficient. You need to do more. यहाँ पर you need to act more like an amateur psychologist. जहाँ पर हम UPSC की thought process को समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. What UPSC is demanding, what the paper setter is thinking while he or she is setting those questions, what kind of an answer is expected by that paper setter. We are trying to understand that. We are trying to understand their psyche, so as to increase our chances of getting more net correct marks in the real exam. So, what are the initiatives which will be in line with what we have discussed so far? I'll take your questions, guys. I'll take your questions quickly. So, number 1 is Destroy Prelims 2023, where again logical skills and hacks will be discussed in great detail. It will be a short 10 days exercise, 10 days workshop, जहाँ पर हम यही चीज great detail में master करने की कोशिश करेंगे. Then yet another initiative, Hacked CSAT 2023. Now this is for paper 2. This is for CSAT. Very briefly, I'll just mention this. CSAT has been getting tougher year after year, and even many good candidates who have been scoring very high marks in paper 1 have been failing in CSAT. Even many post holders have been failing in CSAT. So this is just to get an idea as to how the difficulty level of CSAT has been increasing year after year. So Hacked CSAT would be dedicatedly a short duration course for paper 2 CSAT, where again similar logical skills and hacks we'll be learning in that particular workshop. Just for example, we'll also learn how to save time and how to solve comprehension questions without even reading the comprehension. Now this might sound counterintuitive. We are solving reading comprehension without reading the comprehension itself. So that is just an example how we'll be going ahead in that particular workshop of CSAT. Then comes Destroy Current Affairs 2023, where most important current affairs with respect to prelims 2023 will be covered in a short span of 10 days. And ultimately, Nicalo Prelims 2023. The first three initiatives that we discussed, be it Destroy Prelims, be it Hack CSAT, be it Destroy Current Affairs. Now, these are short duration courses. The fourth one, Nicalo Prelims 2023, would be a free initiative. Anybody can join it. The main thrust of this initiative of Nicalo Prelims would be on revision and content consolidation. It will be roughly 2 or 2.5 months long initiative. Again, a free initiative open to all. So these 4 initiatives are about to start, and these are guided by the temperament, the thought process that we need to have. The thought process, the temperament that we have just gone through by discussing the 2022 questions and by solving those questions. Then we have just discussed 4 golden rules. Just by discussing 4 rules, don't have this thing idea in your mind that we have mastered those rules. We will need a lot of practice, and even for mastering those 4 rules. And apart from that, the remaining rules, rule number 5 to 15, we'll be doing that in these workshops. And the first step that you need to take for that is filling the form given in the description box. And I'll just share it in the chat box here for you guys, those guys who have not joined the Telegram group. I'll just share it with you here. Give me just a moment. And I've shared the link to the Telegram group in the chat section. You guys can use it to join the Telegram group. Okay. So quickly continuing ahead. Let's end the session. So just to reiterate what I've said, filling up the form will help you access the Telegram group and these initiatives that we have discussed so far. And you'll be also getting the PDF of this webinar once you fill up the form and join the Telegram group. And one-to-one detailed mentorship session, you can access it as well after you fill up the form. Okay, so that was all in today's session. Now it has already been a long session. If you guys have any questions, I'll be taking them very quickly. You can tell your name and ask questions if any question is there. Otherwise, we can end the session.
Excuse me, sir.
Who is this?
Akash.
Yes, Akash.
Sir, बहुत कोर्स कंबाइन है या फिर अलग-अलग से होंगे? CSAT का और GS1 का?
जो CSAT और GS1 के courses अलग होंगे क्या? This is what you are asking.
Yes sir, I'm asking.
These are 2 distinct courses, Akash. Okay. Paper 1 के लिए Destroy Prelims 2023, Paper 2 के लिए Hack CSAT 2023. This will be short duration paid courses. ठीक है?
Okay.
निकालो Prelims की जहाँ तक हमने बात की है, this will be a free initiative, open for all. ठीक है? Anyone else?
Sir, Radhika, sir. So to join these courses, the link is available on the website. Will be should we sign in from there on the website, and then the payment and everything will be done through the site?
It will be available on the website, but it will be made available on the Telegram group itself. So better if you stay connected to the Telegram group.
When will they be starting, sir? The courses?
They are planned to be started in Feb next month.
Okay, sir. And the Nicalo Prelims course, sir, last one?
Nicalo Prelims will also be starting very soon, probably in a week or so. You'll be notified. You'll be notified about it, both on the YouTube channel, on the website, and in the Telegram group.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Excuse me, sir.
Any other question? Yeah, who's this?
Sir, Padmini.
Yes, Padmini.
Sir, the Telegram link is not working.
Not working. It should work. I think other students have joined using this link from this particular session.
Sir, I clicked on it and it directed to the Chrome and it said the connection was reset. What is the reason behind it?
So it must work. It must work. It's working for others. retry it later after the session.
Okay.
It's working. Okay. Any other question?
Maybe you can update your Telegram and then try to, then you can able to join.
Okay. Thank you.
Any doubt? Any question?
Sir, yeah, sir. My
Who's
name is
this?
Abhishek. Sir, Abhishek. Sir, can I have the recording? Actually, I just joined like 5-10 minutes back. So due to some work, so yeah. Will it be visible?
Okay. So this particular video will be posted on YouTube, but when? I can't say that.
Okay.
When it will be posted, it will be shared in the Telegram group.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Anybody else with a question, a doubt?
Hello.
कुछ तो doubts होंगे. Like otherwise, I'll have to assume about myself that I am a great teacher. इतना अच्छा पढ़ाता हूँ कि किसी को कोई doubts नहीं रहता है आखिर में.
Sir.
Please ask your doubts.
Hello.
Yeah, who's this?
Sir, Sarika here.
Yeah, Sarika.
Sir, destroy prelims के मतलब last time जो sessions हुए थे, I think November or December something. तो वो recorded मिलेंगे या फिर ये fresh start हो रहा है course अलग से?
ठीक है. See, recorded नहीं मिलेंगे. These sessions. Good that you have asked this question. These sessions will be live interactive sessions. It will have both components of Zoom meetings and chat sessions. So it will be live. I'll be connected to you live, both through Zoom and Telegram. ठीक है. Recorded नहीं होगा इसमें.
Okay.
So it will help you. तुम्हारे जो भी questions होंगे, whatever questions you must be having, those you will be able to resolve in real time. Recorded questions में how would you resolve your doubts, right?
Okay, sir. तो मतलब sessions होने के बाद भी recording नहीं मिलेगा?
That is a different thing. That is a different thing. But these sessions will be live. That is for sure.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other question?
सर अजय.
Yeah, Ajay.
सर अभी से कितना समय देना शुरू कर दें प्रीलिम्स के लिए?
सर कितना समय देना शुरू करोगे? Okay.
थोड़ा सा
now
ऑप्शनल बचा है मेरा, इसलिए पूछ रहा था आपसे.
Sorry.
थोड़ा सा ऑप्शनल मेरा बचा है अभी, इसलिए आपसे पूछ रहा था.
Okay. Your specific questions, I'll answer them. इस out of the context चले जाएंगे ना, तो अगर हम ये अभी डिस्कस करेंगे तो इंडिविजुअल स्पेसिफिक हो जाएगा. ठीक, वहां पर डिस्कस करते हैं.
ठीक है.
Is like any other question with respect to today's topic, today's context?
Sir.
No questions. Who is
Hello.
this?
Sir, can you please share those slides in the Telegram group if possible?
Yeah. You'll be getting the slides in the Telegram group. Okay. Yes, Sarika.
Sir, ये course कब तक चलेगा? मतलब from February to?
This will be a short duration course, somewhere between 10 to 20 days.
Okay, sir.
Not more than that.
Okay, sir.
Okay. I believe there are no more questions, no more doubts remaining. So we'll be calling it a day. So thank you guys for being here. I hope this session has been quite insightful for you guys. And if you have anything to say before we end, like some of you guys were quite active, like Sarika was quite active, Radhika, Vaishnavi, and a few other guys. Pritam was quite active, Ajay was quite active. So anything that you would want to say, any insight that you have received, कुछ नई clarity तुमको मिली है, या इस सेशन के बाद can you say थोड़ा क्यों ना हो confidence में difference आया है, anything, or if you felt that the session was useless, you can even say that.
Actually, this session is useful, sir. For example, if you don't know anything, like if you are blank in that examination, so just if we want to try, if you want to use any tricks, so that we can use these tricks.
Okay. Fine. Ajay, Sarika.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. So I think this course is beneficial because Radhika, sir.
Yeah, Radhika.
Sir, this course is beneficial because it kind of gives you a lifeline when you don't know an answer. It kind of makes you hopeful that maybe I can reach the answer even if I'm not able to relate to what I've studied. So in that way, this is very beneficial.
So you're saying it gives you a lifeline. थोड़ी देर के लिए I felt I am hosting KBC. उस वाले अवतार में चला गया था. But good to know that you are feeling that way. Okay. Vaishnavi, Nisha, Sarika, what about you?
Sir, it gives an edge. Like if we are missing the cutoff by 1 or 2 marks, it's a net positive thing. So I think this program
net positive thing.
Yes,
okay, good way to describe it.
Yes, sir, it was मतलब questions में basic जहाँ idea नहीं था वहाँ पे पता चल जाता है कैसे eliminate कर सकते हैं.
Sir,
in the last 5 to 10 minutes, if you don't have any idea, we can go through this. Preetham, yes, sir.
Tell me your name.
Yeah, I'm Preetham, sir. Like in last 5 to 7 minutes, if you don't know any answers, we can use this techniques.
You are saying कि last के 5 to 7 minutes में this will be very helpful.
I mean last 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, ठीक है. See, with practice you will get to know that this thing you'll have, or you'll be able to use it across those 2 hours. After solving the short questions, you will start using it them earlier only. आखिरी के 5-7 minute में you just keep rushing. Okay, that's a different thing. Okay, but that's a good perspective. Anyone else?
अजय.
Yes, Ajay.
सर ये काफी समय बचाता है, मतलब आप बताते हैं इस चीज को तो फिर हमें वो नहीं देखना पड़ता कि है ना, एक क्वेश्चन में जाके हमें वो रिसर्च नहीं करनी पड़ती उतनी, क्योंकि आप उसको बता देते हैं. तो वो एक तरह से कंफर्मेशन है कि हाँ, मतलब इस तरह से चीजें होती हैं तो आप उसमें एक तरह से मोहर लगाते हैं. यस, दिस इज द
व्हाट यू आर सेइंग अजय कि ओके कि एक तरह से वैलिडेशन मिल जाता है कि चीजें इस तरह से भी की जा सकती है, एंड अल्टीमेटली दैट एड्स टू योर कॉन्फिडेंस.
यस सर.
राइट. Good. Fine. So again, good to know that it has been insightful, guys. So stay connected through the Telegram group, and further information will be communicated in the Telegram group itself. Thanks a lot, guys, for staying in for so long. It has been a long session.
Hello.
Who's this?
Sir, Sarika here.
Yes, Sarika.
Sir, आपका जो last time session हुआ था, उसमें आपने मतलब वो फ्रैक्शनल ऑर्बिटल मिशन ऐसे क्वेश्चंस लिए थे जो वर्ड मीनिंग के देख के हम सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. तो वो भी टेक्निक्स इसमें इंक्लूड होगी कोर्स में, मतलब वो जो
सारे टेक्निक्स, all those techniques, all those rules, all those hacks that will help you score more and more marks in prelims and help you to clear cutoff not only of civil services exam but also IFOS and IRMS. जो स्टूडेंट्स IFOS और IRMS को भी ट्राई कर रहे हैं, those cutoffs are always going to be higher. ठीक है, so we'll be aiming to clear those cutoffs not only of civil service examination. And the question that you asked, yes, word play हम करेंगे. This was just a single session, तो सारे लॉजिक सारे ट्रिक्स हम एक साथ नहीं कर सकते, so हमने सेलेक्टिवली किया है. वर्कशॉप में हम वो सारे इन डेप्थ तरीके से करेंगे. ठीक है सारिका?
थैंक यू सर. ओके सर.
फाइन. सो thank you guys, we'll end the session here. Chalo, good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, if possible, share that link so that we can join the payment and all.
कौन सी लिंक प्रीतम?
To join this program, live session, I mean workshop.
It will be shared in the Telegram group itself, Pritham. If you have joined the Telegram group, you will get it there.
Yeah.
Fine.
Thank you.
Chalo, good night.